I am Dana, the Behavior and Training Program Coordinator for the Animal Welfare Society up here in Kennebunk, Maine. And we are doing our Ask the Trainer session where we prepare some topics ahead of time and have some time for you guys to comment and ask some questions, which I will kind of get some feedback at the end. So today we are going to roll it all the way back. Our topics today is what is training and why is it important? And a couple of life skills, so polite greetings and getting comfortable with the veterinary exam. I can't believe that we are in our 7th Ask the Trainer live session and our 8th or 9th week staying at home, which is just bananas. Hopefully everybody still likes their dogs. I know I do. Hi Beth, good. I'm glad people are here. Okay, this is working, so that's good. I'm not sure if the time has been flying or just dragging on throughout everything that's been going on here recently. So since we're at this 2-month mark, I really wanted to spend some time going all the way back, being able to make sure we reach to everybody, whether you have a dog, don't have a dog, have a cat, any sort of information is important. Like why do we do training and what is it? So what is training and why is it important? And I want to be talking about pets today. So pet dog training, pet training, not just, we're not going to talk about working dogs or other animals with jobs specifically. So we're going to focus on pet dogs today. So, and I know this can be a really suggestive question. What is training? And it's true, the answer is going to be different for everybody. And knowing that it's different for everybody is actually the point. What training is to simply help families live successfully together with their non-human family members. So it's different for everybody. What works for me and my dog and what I need to live successfully with my dog is not the same for you, your dog, and your family. So identifying what is important to you is part of training. So, and the training part is how we look at it and what actions we do to get everybody together and on the same page. So, with this view of getting to live together successfully in the household, it's much more than just sit down and stay. So it's building communication, trust, and a reliable relationship. It also means that training with your dog is a journey and really doesn't have an end. Just like building a family, cultivating a new friendship, or learning a new language, if you just stop after one lesson, practice session, or course, it's not going to produce a strong foundation and get you everything you need for the lifetime of your animal that you have with you. So it's really important to know that it's a journey and it's something to always work on, just like any other skill or any other relationship. So let's take a look at some of the different parts that training is comprised of. Broadly speaking, training is relationship building. It's spending time with your dog in a meaningful way. So it's something that you guys can bond and do together. It's bonding, it's building that trust. It's learning how to communicate. Understanding what your dog is expressing through their body language and helping them understand your expectations. So you learning how to speak dog and dog learning how to speak human. And exploring the world in a safe way. So understanding that learning is fun, and then when learning is fun and environments are fun and new things are fun, then you guys can be together as a family in a more diverse sort of situation. So that's our kind of broad scope of it. To narrow it down, kind of think about this as like pie slices. So each part is equally important, and all of these different parts make up training. So we have obedience, and that's the one we always think of. Everybody is thinking about obedience training. When I say, oh, is your dog trained? You're like, yeah, sit and stay. And what's going on there. But obedience is just one slice of the pie. So obedience, teaching your dog to reliably perform a behavior that you have trained them to perform when you give them a specific cue. You say the word sit, your dog puts their butt on the ground. And outside of dog sports, there's no specific rules for this. It doesn't have to be sit down and stay. It can be, go over there and get me something, stand over here and wait quietly. It can be anything that you need, but that you have trained your dog to perform a specific behavior in response to a specific cue. Next is navigating social situations. So teaching your dog how to respond to social situations with other people and animals. So this, sometimes they do it a little bit on their own, and other times it's something that you have to help with. So with puppies, we talk about socialization classes, learning how to give and take social cues with other dogs or animals, learning how to kind of be in polite human society, where it's acceptable and safe for everyone involved. Next is a brain-body awareness. So teaching your dog how to connect what they're doing with their body to their thinking. So that it's a little bit, sometimes we talk about this like impulse control. This is something that we want to tackle in a holistic kind of way, so that they're not just pulling on the leash, but they're thinking about where they put their feet. Agility is really fun for this, and it's a great way of a whole body and mind workout and exercise. This one's my favorite. So the next one to talk about is cooperative husbandry. And husbandry is our care for an animal. So what anybody, what they need is part of their husbandry. So if we can teach our dogs to help out with those procedures, that going to the vet is a easy experience. Can they lift their paws for nail trims? Can they present their ears if they need an ear cleaning? Can they stand still for a veterinary exam? Those kinds of things. If they can participate in that and are trained, it helps make life a little bit smoother for the duration of their life, as it is something that they will need to participate in. Our second to last slice of the pie is enrichment, and utilizing your dog's natural skills, providing physical exercise, and playing with your dog. So those are all things that make life fun and exciting and give it the color that it needs. And it's just as, and there's training involved in there, so setting those expectations. And safety. So that's my final size, safety training, teaching your dog skills that will keep them safe in your environment. So if you don't have a fenced-in backyard, you need them to be able to recall off the road. How to not bolt out the front door, waiting patiently at street corners, those kinds of things. Being able to drop something from their mouth if they need it. So those are my specific pie slices for training. And through this perspective, training is done at any age and is worked on throughout their whole life. One of our pie slices might be trained early on, but still would need maintenance throughout the dog's life to stay strong and reliable. So we use the word training a lot to focus on animals, job experience, and exercise, but really it's part of every aspect in our lives to be able to work together and habitate harmoniously. So, we think that, in many professions, employees continue to learn through continuing education experiences. They have to have certain amount of continuing ed credits to keep their certifications. Athletes train their whole lives to be able to perform at their top level. So why are we considering our animals are just trained after one obedience class? And it's, it sounds overwhelming, and it is. And now that I have overwhelmed you and I've laid out a plan that looks like you need to be a full-time dog trainer, you already are. So just our animals are not just learning during training sessions, they're learning all the time. When you're watching TV, when you're feeding them dinner, they're learning all the time. So you don't have to do everything at once, and you have a whole lifetime to do it. I just wanted to lay out the different pieces that are involved to give you the 10,000 foot view of what training looks like. Some things will require more focus, and other things will be part of your daily routine. It's up to you as a family to decide what is really important to you and your dog to be able to do. For me, when I lived in Philadelphia, walking on a loose leash and being by my side and responsive in a really busy environment was super important. Polite greeting towards guests, I didn't have many people come over, it wasn't as important. That's going to be different for every family. So deciding as a family and focusing on what you want out of training and want out of your dog is where you're going to concentrate your efforts in your formal training sessions. Otherwise, just make sure you play with your dog, let them use their nose, set reasonable expectations, and that's all part of training too. Solicit the help of a professional if you need some guidance, or if you just want to do something a little bit extra and fun. Sometimes, our dogs are older, they behave great, you have an awesome time, but maybe you want to do something a little bit newer, fun, and that is totally cool to have some agility training, nose work training, and do something a little bit extra and exciting to keep life a little bit spicy as you go on. So 2 popular requests we always get for help, to ask to help with, is dogs who jump on guests and dogs who are fearful at the vet. So instead of looking at both of these examples as we have done for the last few weeks, is to kind of try to fix problems, I would like to look at these things proactively. So let's look at these as a prevention and how to train our dogs from the beginning before they start jumping on people, what a polite greeting looks like. And before they're scared of the veterinarian, how do we get comfortable with veterinary exams? So let's start with polite greetings. Polite greetings 101, teaching your dog to greet humans in a socially acceptable way when we're ready to be there again. So first, we want to make sure that our dogs are comfortable with humans approaching. So what I like to do is offer them a treat near your feet when they see a person. So they see a person, we offer a treat by our feet. See a person, we offer a treat by our feet. And getting them used to it. So they're like, oh, okay, cool, someone's by, that's exciting, I like treats, this is great. So then we want to also teach them how to check in with their person when a new friend is approaching. So we can talk to them gently and then offer that treat by their feet. I saw the person, oh, that's such a good boy, and treat by their feet. So they're looking and they're checking back in with you and getting rewarded for it. So then we need to tell our person that, they're going to need to be on their best behavior as well to help us train our dogs. So we're going to let them know that they can only invite the dog over for some petting if the dog is standing quietly or acting in a calm manner. So dog looks at person, they look back at you, they get a treat, person keeps approaching, dog stays with all 4 paws on the ground. Person bends down, says, okay, puppy, come here and get some pets, and your dog gets some pets. As long as 4 paws stay on the ground, they can keep petting. If for any reason they're getting a little bit rowdy, jumping up, just have the person stand up and walk away and practice again getting your dog to check back in with you. You can also reward for any checking back in at you at any point in this process. I recommend starting with family members and friends your dog already knows and who will listen in order to kind of practice before taking and interacting with unfamiliar people or people your dog doesn't know. Cool. So no comments just yet, but just checking. And the other life skill I wanted to talk about today is being comfortable with veterinary exams. So this is a big one. I know it only comes around for most dogs once or twice a year, but in case of emergency and to just make this process, which is part of your dog's life, a better experience, we want to work on it before it's a problem. So if your dog is already fearful at the vet's office, work with a professional to get a plan in place to kind of determine how bad it is and what level of desensitization and counter conditioning you're going to need to do. But for those of you whose dogs are not nervous about being at the vet yet, or new puppies who really haven't had much experience, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to work towards cooperative husbandry, that your dog is helping you out in the moment of being examined and touched when they are not soliciting touching. So I recommend calling your vet first and just asking, or your vet tech or a friend, hey, what does a normal exam look like? And they'll tell you what they normally do, which might be, oh, we walk into the room and kneel down and we run our hands down their body and check their ears and check their mouth and check their eyes and their paws and their belly. So you can kind of ask them what the process is and then train it at home. And I like to start by kneeling or sitting cross-legged or maybe standing or sitting in a chair in front of my dog and just treating them and rewarding them for calmly standing in front of me. So we're calmly standing and the dog's getting rewarded for that. And then if that's going okay, they're not too antsy, what I like to do is start to gently do a little bit of all over petting and treating and petting and treating. If they move away, let them move away. If they are having any sort of aggression, just stop your training session and kind of wait. For dogs who are doing it pretty well, you can start to kind of make it more like an exam. Maybe lift up an ear and then treat, lift up their lips and then treat, and just kind of start adding it so it looks more like a veterinary exam and less like petting. Do short sessions, make sure your dog is comfortable with this, and keep your sessions flowing, and it should be a happy experience. If your dog is having any trouble or developing any fear, reach out to your vet or your trainer and ask for some help. But this should be a preventative measure so that when you go into your vet's office, you can say, hey, we've been doing training on this. I brought some treats with me. Let's have our dogs kind of stand.